Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last met.
By the way,
Just got in town,
and I won't.
you in the sky, go in the sky. Who am I like?
Usually I. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all want to get up and dance? Baby, I wonder. Baby, I wonder. I got fucking ain't not gonna. Just say you will. Well, yeah. Just say you will. This intro is not long enough. Yeah. Yeah. What is up, you guys? Welcome, welcome. I feel like this intro is not long enough. Like, it needs to be a little bit longer, huh? What is up, you guys? Welcome to Earth is School. How is everyone? How is everyone doing? How are y'all feeling on, what's today, Saturday? I normally never know what day it is. When you move to Africa, you don't, like, there's no days of the week, really. It's just whatever. That's what it feels like. But I think today's Saturday. How is everyone? How are you doing? Come in, come in. Kaifi, Kaifi. Welcome, welcome to Earth is School every single day, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I have a really good episode for you guys today. Like every single day, it's a really good episode. And yes, I just want to welcome you guys in. Kaifi, Kaifi, come in. Where are you listening from? Where are you listening from? Let me know what city you represent in, what city is in the house. Come right in. Let me see you. Show me some love. Let me see those thumbs up if you're excited to be in here. I'm excited, y'all. I almost had a birth. You guys know I do painless birth. I almost had a birth today, so I barely got any sleep. So I power napped, and I feel good. I feel good. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that because I did not want to come on here and be tired and be having like brain fog and stuff. So I'm really happy about that. Welcome, welcome, you guys. Come on in. Have a seat. Get comfortable because we're going to have a really good episode today. Star Africa. Okay. Wait up, sister. It most big one day. Yes. I think that I haven't seen your name here. I try to remember everybody, like for real. I try to be that intentional. So welcome, welcome. If this is y'all's first time tuning in, you are watching Earth is School podcast every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Earth is School is a podcast that I created based off of a philosophy I've had since I was like 6 years old on just the fact that we are here to learn lessons and to grow and to create. And so throughout my life of coaching and doing other things very similar, quantum healing and things, and interacting with a lot of people, there are just these really awesome, deep philosophies and ways of life that I have developed, and people love for me to share them with the world. And I also love to break down really complicated, relatable subjects and make them simple. So that's almost the gist of what every episode is. Really deep subjects, really relatable subjects, subjects that you can grow from and you can share with others. Just intentional. This is a very intentional podcast. And normally it's on audio, but I have been challenged to do video for 7 days. So far it's working. So far the video has been good. So we'll see how it's going to be. But welcome, you guys. Hey, Golden Heart. Thank you for coming in. So today we have a really good episode, per usual, okay? Before we begin, let's do our breaths. For those of you who don't know, we do this core breathing, this core spinal cord fluid breathing, where we push the spinal cord fluid up into our brain, feeding our brain and releasing the things that we've been holding on to. We do this twice. It's the same thing I do in my painless birth work and a lot of my quantum healing work. And it really, really is some powerful stuff. So I'm going to instruct you guys to breathe in, to push your navel to your back, to hold it, and then release. Wherever you are, you can do this. And it's going to be, especially if you don't daily meditate and do breathing exercises like you would wish that you could, then this is a really good time to do that. All right, so on 3, 1, 2, 3, breathing in, pushing your navel to your back, pulling it up. Hold it, hold your breath, squeeze your core and hold your breath and release. Nice. Okay, the last one, we give it a lot more strength. We pull it in using all your breath, all your strength, all your core strength, okay? This is something that has really strengthened my core and allowed me to get rid of diastasis recti and prolapse. Really, really good stuff for men. This is good for preventing prostate cancer, things like that. All right, so let's breathe it in. 1, 2, 3, going in. Pushing your navel back, squeeze it, pull it up, suck it up some more, suck up the air. Holding it just a little bit longer, and release. All right. Thank you guys. The ones who are not just watching me, who are participating, thank you so much. Thank you so much, because you're doing yourself a really good favor. And as a collective, like, we're doing this all as a collective. That's powerful stuff. So today we are going to talk about faith, okay? And y'all know this might sound like it's nothing. This might sound like, oh, I've heard this all before. But on Earth is School, you have not heard it all before. Because you know I'm about to break this thing down on another level, okay? And a lot of you guys are going to come in here and help me and share your personal experiences. And I love that about this show. So what are we going to talk about with faith? What is faith? What is faith? So faith in a nutshell, right, is one of the biggest lessons of this matrix, of this realm, of this world, is to feel good and at peace without having the thing that would satisfy you. So I'm going to read that again. One of the biggest lessons of this world is to feel good and at peace without having the thing that would satisfy you. So this sounds totally different from what you probably thought about faith, right? And I'm going to break this thing down. This is about to really open up your minds to what faith truly is, and how it's not just in the event that you have something big that you want to do. It's just life, period. It's almost like manifesting. It's the way that we think that manifesting is like creating what you want. If you're trying to create something, it's this misconception, but really manifesting is happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're constantly manifesting. Same thing with having faith. Your faith is constantly being tested. Okay, not really tested, but tested. We'll get into tests later, another episode. All right, so whether it is a thing you are waiting on, money, a relationship you want, some bad news that you were given and you want to change the outcome, anything, this is what you needing to, or I don't want to say needing to, but this is what you learning to have peace and have ease in times that you don't have the thing that would normally satisfy you. So one of our biggest lessons here is faith. A lesson of faith is constant. It's all day, every day, because it says being okay when unexpected things take place, knowing that it's going to be okay and that everything is going to work itself out, that it always does, all the time. That's faith, okay? Faith is saying that it's going to be okay when unexpected things take place, knowing that it's going to be okay and everything is always working itself out all the time. This is faith. Faith means that your mind is reaching the destination before your actual life does. Run that back, okay? Faith is meaning that your mind is reaching the destination before your life does. This is faith in its simplest form, okay? And faith is constant. It's not just when you are trying to manifest something big. So you must get to a place where you feel at peace and you feel the thing that you desire before it arrives. From something big to something small to just anything, to just every day, all day. This is supposed to be your vibration 24/7, or this is what we're aiming for, right? Why is this important? It's important because when you don't have this level of faith, when you're not living in faith, then you are creating resistance. So you're not living a life of ease, you're creating resistance. And what I mean by that is that if faith is for you to know that everything is always working itself out, for your mind to reach that place before the destination does, then it means that you're not going to be in a panic. It means that you're not going to be in worry and anxiousness and nervousness and things like that, because you are living in faith. So you believe that it's constantly working out. And if you don't, when you don't have this understanding, when your mind has not been programmed with this concept, what are you doing? You're overthinking, you're creating scenarios in your mind, you're living by default, like the majority of us are. You are creating problems that aren't really there and really panicking. Okay, you're living in fear and you're low key panicking or high key. All right, so I wanted to share my story in faith and having faith. And the point of this episode in faith is because um, I really want us to get a chance to looking at faith in a different scale, looking at it way different from how we normally look at it. I think that when we hear the word faith, we think biblical, we think religious, and it doesn't matter what you believe in. This is something that you always must keep. It doesn't matter what you're manifesting, doesn't matter what kind of day it is. So I kind of want us to grasp that concept of how natural and normal just living a life of faith should be for us. This is living a life of ease. When you're living a life of faith, you are taking the path of least resistance. So one of my biggest stories that I have, of course, me moving here is like an entire book of faith. But another experience that I had that I can never forget is the experience I had with my daughter, with me giving birth to Kyoko. So a lot of women, especially Black women, tend to have this very similar story where I got pregnant with Kyoko, and in my first trimester, I started bleeding, I started having complications. And so I went to the hospital, and they gave me all these photos telling me that she was, basically they flat out said that she was going to be a vegetable if I gave birth to her. They were like, if you continue on with this pregnancy, your daughter is going to be a vegetable. You're going to be feeding her for the rest of her life. She is going to be mentally unstable. She's going to have all these different brain issues. And so they're showing me these pictures of the ultrasound of these holes, of these fluid bubbles that are in her brain. At least that's what they were explaining them to be. And so they, this is almost unbelievable, but it's crazy how much I share this story and so many women have the same story. Like, I know that it's a thing that they're doing for sure. So they ended up telling me that I could take these pills and that if I would go home and swallow these pills, then my daughter would come out in the toilet This is like I'm maybe like 3 or 4 months pregnant, and they're like, she's gonna come out in the toilet, and if you could take a sample of the baby and then bring it in a bag, then we can do tests on it and we can figure out what went wrong. This is the true story, you guys. This is what I was told when I was pregnant with my second child. And so my husband at the time, we're sitting here like, what? Like, did like, what are y'all thinking? Are y'all thinking that we don't want this baby? Like, the way they said it was just so cold and just so like, look, like, y'all don't have no chance. So just go ahead and just take this pill, and that's it. They kept telling us, if you go forward with the pregnancy, if you make it past the time that you cannot do this, this abortion, then you are going to give birth to a child that you're going to be feeding forever. So I can never forget this moment because I was just learning about faith. I had just been reading a lot on faith, and I just knew that it was my time, my test in faith. And I just will never forget that elevator ride, like leaving from the hospital room and getting into the elevator and just deciding no. Like deciding no. Like, I don't care what they say. I don't care the photos that they showed. The answer is no. Whatever they said, it's not the truth. It's not happening. I'm not going to give birth to a vegetable and have to feed this child for the rest of their life. And I mean, at this point, we're so early on, we don't even know if she's a boy or a girl. And I'm just like, absolutely not. I don't know what the hell they're talking about because I am not connected to what they're talking about. Like, I'm in another world. I'm over here. They're over here. And that is how I went for the next few months. I ended up switching doctors like maybe 3 months later. But for at least those 3 months, they were telling me, this is crazy that you are continuing on with this pregnancy. You're not going to be happy once you have this baby, yada, yada, yada. And it was so draining. Like, they were taking so many vials of blood from me. I don't know what the hell the deal was, but it was crazy. It was really draining. It was depressing. And I just stayed steadfast. I stayed steadfast with what I believed, the decision that I made in my world, that what they were saying was not going to happen. This is what you call faith. Faith is like the table is blue, but to you it's black. And that's what it is. Like, that's like, I don't care. Like, there is no other way. And this is something that you have to have all the time in every single section of your life, all throughout the day. Let's not even think of, I don't want this conversation about faith to look like something so big. I'm just using that as an example. But I want us to grasp the concept that faith is a daily thing, that all throughout your day, you have to know not to be in a panic because everything is always working itself out all the time for you. So, of course, I ended up changing doctors a few months later. My doctor was like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they were telling you and why, but you were right. Nothing is going to happen with this child and everything is good. It was one of my most amazing births. She was my most amazing birth in the hospital. And obviously, like, nothing is wrong with her. She came out beautiful and very intelligent, no type of brain issues or nothing, super creative. It was total opposite of what they had said. And so I just really wanted to share that story of how real faith can get. Like, faith can get so real that every single way that you turn and every corner that you look at, it just looks like absolutely not. It just looks like it's not going to work. But when we're talking about faith and you living on the vibration of faith, it doesn't matter what it looks like. That's what faith is. It doesn't matter what's being said. It doesn't matter the diagnosis that you got. It doesn't matter what news that you got or how much you got in your bank account. Nothing matters. When we're talking about faith, nothing matters. Your mind has to reach the destination before your reality does. That is faith. Okay? So I could definitely give the example of me moving here. But I think a lot of you guys already know that was a true test of faith. I hate to use the word test because we're really not tested here. But Um, it was a lesson. It was definitely a lesson of faith, and me having to just believe in myself and trust myself. And that's another thing about faith. Faith is about trusting self. It's about trusting the process. It's one of the main things that I want to grasp from this conversation is that it's like that saying, if you're going to pray, then don't worry. If you're going to worry, then don't pray. So what's really going on? If you are anxious and you're nervous and you really don't, you're like, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? Da, 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 da. You're not having faith. You're not manifesting more of what you want. You're living in fear. So you're doing the complete opposite. And the truth is that when you vibrate on that level of doubt, when you're shakable, right? When you can be shooken, then so many things could happen. You could still get to the destination that you want, but you end up having to go through so much more first before you get there, because it's like you have to be, it's like your life has to strengthen you or coach you on how to have the faith. So how to live a life of faith, right? The way that you live a life of faith, because again, we're not talking about just having faith here and there. We're talking about living a life of faith constantly, right? This is practicing. You have to practice faith, and you also have to discipline yourself. So the way that you, like, let's say that you're the person, and only you know this, only you know if you're the kind of person that panics a lot, that deals with a lot of anxiety when things don't go your way. If things are not going what you expected, if you made a plan and the plan didn't work out, only you know if you're the kind of individual that kind of has to flip out, you know, before you find some groundedness, and you only you know if you even end up really finding groundedness, right? And so if this is you, then eliminating and or reducing the habits that are not helpful, the addictions. So again, this is how to live a life of faith. It seems like these don't have anything to do with each other, but how you're feeling every single day has everything to do with your test of faith. So if you are not able to eliminate distractions and addictions, social media addictions, addictions to whatever types of drugs, even when it comes to food, if these are things that are crowding your mind, then it doesn't seem like they connect at all, but they really, really do, because they cloud your judgment. They cloud your judgment, and they really get in the way of where your mind is supposed to be clearer and on a higher vibration and thinking more of what you want as if it's already here, right? Your brain reaching that destination before your life does. Instead, your mind is thinking about feeding those habits and those addictions, those distractions. And social media is a major distraction, okay? Marijuana can be a major distraction. Cigarettes, alcohol can be a major distraction. Only you know this. Only you know this, okay? We're not judging. We don't do that here, but we got to keep it 100, okay? This is about keeping it real. This is about growth. So distractions can also be people that are in your circle. It can be your friends or your family that are not on your level, that don't understand why you're trying to have this faith, why you are staying steadfast and trying to discipline yourself. Very, very often, very commonly, these also can be your distractions and your bad habits. So dropping those things, certain friends, certain family members. Another thing, we're talking about how to live a life of faith. Another thing is creating a rising routine, right? A routine for whenever you wake up. Creating a routine that puts you in the position to receive and feel good about where you are right now. And even create things you do to help you stick to it whenever you fall off. So we're talking about practicing and disciplining yourself into a life of faith, right? Okay, in order to do this, I'm breaking down the things that you need to do, and you definitely need to set up a routine for yourself, because anything could take place. You could wake up in the morning and feel good for the first few moments, and then something take place. Your kids can go through something, somebody, your partner, baby mama, baby daddy stuff, bills, all types of scenarios can take place within the first hour or few hours of you waking up. And so if you don't have a routine that is setting you straight, setting you on the path of least resistance, making you feel good, helping you to pay attention to your thoughts and things, then you can easily get off of that playing field of faith and go straight down to the opposite, which is creating that resistance, which is overthinking, which is feeling like, oh, this thing is not going to happen. Oh, it might not work. Okay, I'm getting impatient. Why is this thing not taking place? All these things that are total opposite of faith. Okay, so creating that routine. And then I mentioned also create not necessarily a full routine, but choose one or two things that you do whenever you fall off of this routine. So for example, if you're honest with yourself and you know that you are addicted to social media or you're addicted to cigarettes, marijuana, whatever it is, and if this is something that you feel like you need to start your day, which is a sure sign that it's a distraction and an addiction, then while you are disciplining yourself to not consume these things in the beginning of your day, if you fall off, which is very normal when you're training yourself, choose a thing or two that you do to help you get back on course. So, like, for example, and for me, it's a real struggle because social media is a huge part of my brand and my platform. So technically I have to be on social media, but I also am very careful about the times that I go on, and I try to really be disciplined in that. So like if I'm editing, and then let's say like one thing I'll do, like I'll edit, and you guys know I put little snippets in my videos from that I get from like YouTube. So I could go to YouTube to grab one of those things, and then I get distracted. And then I'm like going down the rabbit hole of YouTube. So I have already created a routine for myself that, first of all, listening to my inner voice. Okay, what are you doing? Okay, how long have you been doing this? Is this productive? Okay, this has got me caught up. So let me get up and let me start doing a workout. Let me just start doing my leg workout, or let me just start doing a little dance or some type of thing that can bring me out of that tunnel of distraction, that tunnel of addiction or whatever, right? So that's what I mean. Creating your daily routine, period, which we should all have. There's no success has to come with your daily routine. You cannot get success depending on, at least let me say most success. Okay, if you're just like you just end up going viral or something like that, that's different. But as far as you building up your success, it cannot happen without you having a daily routine. But then also create something where you can, stop yourself from going deep into distraction. Okay. Yes, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm laughing at myself, y'all, because my mind just be thinking some crazy stuff. When I just said yes, welcome, it reminded me of that girl that does the thing on TikTok in Vigo. Yes. Yum yum. I don't know why. I just felt like I sounded like her a second ago. Yes. So I'm trying to remember to do this. If you are enjoying this episode, if you appreciate this episode, then please hit that thumbs up. Let me know, let YouTube know that my Earth is School podcast needs to be suggested, that this needs to be the #1 podcast in the world. So please hit that thumbs up. Share this podcast if you think that that it will be helpful for other people. Thank you, Azzy Ross. Okay, so setting up your routine, right? And so then the next thing, we're talking about how to live a life of true faith. How to live a life where you are creating the least resistance, where you are having faith in everything that you do, right? And how to live a life where surprises are taking place and they're not moving you. They're not shaking you, and you're staying steadfast. Thank you. Another thing that you would do besides cutting out the distractions and the addictions, besides creating your routine and sticking to it, you would check your thoughts with your inner voice and literally correct and change them. Ask yourself if what you are doing or thinking matches the faith that you desire to have. Okay, so you guys hear me talk about this a lot anyway, right? This is like every episode I mention this. So tapping into your inner thought is really important. Knowing what you're thinking. Think about what you think about. This is something that I tell my kids every day. Think about what you think about. What are you thinking about? Think about that. Okay? Be aware of your thoughts, because your thoughts most definitely play a part in how you're able to handle what you believe about what's going on in your reality. So if you're not paying attention to your thoughts, babies, then you are all over the place. No telling the type of things that you're telling yourself. Like I always say, your mind is your enemy every single day until you make it your friend. Not just on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. This is an everyday thing, because things happen all the time and any day. So this is an everyday, constant, damn near every minute type thing that you got to be paying attention to what you're thinking. So there is a cancel technique. This is what I give to my clients when we're doing sessions and they come to me to help rewire their brains. So I show them how to do this thing where you can cancel your thoughts. The equivalent to this in a religious world would be like basically saying something and being like, Lord, forgive me, kind of. This is like similar to that, but it's not that at all. What you do is you're paying attention to your thoughts. And then when you have a thought that does not match the vibration that makes you feel good and makes you feel at ease, you cancel it. So you literally say, I cancel that thought. Up, canceled. And you can literally just be like, cancel. And this sounds silly. I know this sounds silly, but it really does work. It really does play in your mind like the computer, like the data collector that your mind is. It really does play like it's a freaking laptop and you're pushing cancel or you're pushing delete. That's what ends up happening in your mind. So if you're an overthinker, if you deal with anxiety, if you kind of struggle with grounding yourself and your thoughts, it's really good to develop this habit of having this cancel technique, this mental cancel technique. And it's just where you have your thoughts, and when you notice a bad thought, you're like, cancel. I'm putting that one back. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Ozzy. I appreciate that. Cancel those negative thoughts. Cancel those thoughts that don't match, because you don't need them. They are not productive. It's not helping you. Nothing is going to help you when it comes to that, to having those thoughts. Never does panic and worry and stressful thoughts that make you feel uneasy help with what you're trying to do. It's never been someone like, oh, I'm just so glad that I was stressing out. If I wasn't stressed out and having the negative thoughts, I never would have made it. No one will ever say that. Okay. That's a sentence that you'll never hear. So cancel those thoughts. Okay. The last thing is meditation. Okay. Meditation. I know that this sounds so cliche and corny, but oh my God, if y'all don't get nothing else from these episodes, I really want you guys to understand the truth about meditation. It is not what we think it is. When people come to me for sessions and to rewire their brain, the first thing I ask them, first of all, I love getting people that have been meditating for years, because they automatically believe that they know what's about to take place. And the first thing I tell them is everything that you have believed and known and studied about meditation, throw it out the window. Just throw it away, because this is going to be nothing like that. Because what these gurus are teaching us, what a lot of people believe is meditation, is not meditation. Meditation is prayer. It is completely different from what we are taught. Even in this last 7 years or 10 years or so of this trend of meditating and yoga and all this spiritual stuff, it's just not what we think it is. Meditation is about disciplining yourself and quieting the chatter in your mind, something that you do need to do, because you're a human being with a brain, okay? Your brain is a muscle. And just like your biceps and your triceps and leg day and all these other physical things that we love to work on, you have to work on your brain. So when people are complaining about how they don't have control over their emotions or their anger, which is emotions, but if they don't have control over their thoughts and things, all that you're saying is that I don't take the time to strengthen my brain muscle. Your brain is literally a muscle. If you, I wish I had a replica. I can't wait for me to get my replicas so I can like give you guys these visuals of these things, okay? If you look at a brain, that flesh that's inside of your head and between your ears, it's literally a muscle. So it has to be worked out. And the way that you work it out is through meditation. And the way that you meditate, the discipline in meditating is so like, it can't even be debated. This is not about what you believe in. This is not about a spiritual thing or a religious thing. Like, I hate the way we connect these things. That's why I don't use the term yoga. Just stretch your body, because you got bones and you got flesh and you need to stretch. Okay? It's not a spiritual thing. It is something that, like, if it is a spiritual thing, it's because you're a spiritual being, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, okay, no, it's not a spiritual thing. It's just a brain thing, and you got a brain. That's it. So when it comes to the discipline within meditation, it's not about quieting your brain where you're not thinking of anything. Your brain is not designed to not think of anything. Even when you are in your or in your unconscious brain, when your brain waves are below 7 beats per second, when you're unconscious and you're asleep, your brain is always thinking. Your brain is always turned on. So meditation is not about that. Meditation is about focusing on one thing, even if it is this sound right here. That's it. Even if it is focusing on this sound. And when my mind starts to think, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? Going back to the sound. And when my mind starts to think, what do I have to do tomorrow morning when I first wake up? Going back to the sound. And when my mind starts to think, what about that text message that I got sent back in 1920, going back to the sound. That is meditation. That is discipline. And that is something that mostly everybody struggles with. If you don't do it, you struggle with it. That's it, period. And if you struggle with it, you also struggle with your mind. This is not a debate. This is a human fact, okay? It's just a human thing that we all do until we learn to discipline ourselves within our minds. This is why I always say that school really bamboozled us, because throughout learning about the different things about the world, we should have been learning about our brains. We should have been learning about our functions, the brain functions, the right and the left side of the brain, the different brain waves, and how to control our brain. This is some of the most important work that you will ever do with yourself, because it's about having control over your reality. That is what the discipline within your mind is, which is meditation. So I hope that made sense. I hope I broke that down in some real good, simple terms for you to understand what meditation is and why it is so important. I am going to do Spirit is on you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Tell it like it is. Thank you, guys. Please hit that thumbs up if you are enjoying this episode. Share, share, share. You can share this right now. It is free. And bless somebody else with this game. That is pretty much it, guys. Being in the place. So I said meditate because it quiets the chatter in your head, which puts you in the position to receive. So having faith is also being in the position to receive, because the opposite of faith is not believing, right? The opposite of faith is fear. And when you're not believing, when you're in fear, you're closed off to the opportunity. You're not feeling optimistic, okay? You feel like you need stuff. You feel like you need whatever it is that you want in order for you to feel good. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. If there's a goal that you're trying to make, And if you not having that goal in front of you and your reality is messing with your feelings every day, you definitely need to do these things. You definitely need to meditate. You definitely want to discipline yourself, cut out the distractions, go on a social media hiatus. I'm an influencer. I've been a social media influencer for 12 years now, and I take a break every single year from social media. The excuses that my clients give me to do this, I don't take them. I don't take these excuses, because the truth is that we need to be unplugging ourselves from the matrix and going within. You can still embrace social media. You can still embrace your habits, whatever you like to do, your smoking or whatever, you can still embrace them, but you got to keep it real with yourself. If these are things that you're dependent on, one thing that people do that we don't notice with social media is, especially couples, I see this. Like, we'll get into an argument or we'll have a situation with someone, and without even like being able to process what went on, we'll go onto social media. We're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, all right. And then we'll get on our phones. Pay attention. Pay attention and see if you end up doing this after something shaky happens. I've read articles about this. I noticed it years ago. I mean, I started doing social media breaks like back in like 2010, like before my third child was born. So yeah, he was born in 2013. I was doing social media breaks in like 2011, guys. And I didn't even know what this thing was going to turn into. I didn't know that we were going to be on here like it was going to be our world. But I could feel that that there was that, along with social media, along with MySpace ending and Facebook coming into play, there was also a requirement that we needed for a certain level of discipline. So don't sleep on these things, because we are shaky in our faith. We are shaky in our manifesting. We are slower to create the lives that we desire, because we have these habits and these distractions that we're unable to control. And we are not being, I don't want to say we're not being honest, but we're not being rightfully educated about what meditation is, about why it is so important. We're putting it in this category, just like yoga, just like stretching your body. We're putting it in this category of like, oh, that belongs to these kind of people, that belongs to them. But like I always say, if you have a brain, you need to be strengthening that muscle and meditating. If you have a body, you need to be stretching it. It's not about a spiritual thing. Okay? Keba says, my friend used to be through depression. I told him to meditate sometimes, and he told me that's, no. I didn't even know you was going to say that. Oh, no. Oh, my God. I remember a post of mine that went viral years ago. It was a minute ago. It was like 7 years ago. But it went viral, and I talked about that. I said it was about, I believe I talked about yoga too, but it definitely was meditation. And I was like, I was not knocking down the stereotypes around them. And I was like, it's not for white people. This is not for rich people. This is not for, because we really do have these stereotypes. Like, honestly, I don't like to use the word meditation. I like to use the words strengthening your brain muscle, because to me, because words are so powerful. When we hear words, we connect pictures with them. Your mind naturally does that. Like on a neuroscience level, it's a neuroscientific fact that your brain creates pictures to the words that you hear. So when we hear yoga, we think shaman, we think India, we think that this is for a certain people. We think white people, same thing with the meditation. So I like to use the words strengthening your brain muscle so that it tells you what it really is without using those words that will create other things. And then I just like to say stretching your body, because you got skin. If you got bones, right? Okay. You need to stretch them. It's that simple. Thank you for sharing that, because that is a concept that so many of us have. Okay, yeah, you just said it. And it's sad that so many Black people think this way. Man, it's so crazy. They got us in a chokehold with this thought. It's so not true. It's your brain. It's your brain. If you're overthinking, you're having anxiety, if you're trying to figure out why something has not been manifesting, or you're trying to change your environment, if you are just all the things I named. Go back and listen to the replay and just hear all the things I named on top of some things that I missed. Then you do need to meditate. You do need to strengthen your mind. Thank you. Yes, you guys, please hit the thumbs up. Let YouTube know that this is a show that they need to be suggesting. That Earth is School is bomb, okay? Share this episode. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you guys have any things that you want to share, any questions. Did this make sense to you? Did I explain this thing to the best of my ability, actually? Yes. It's a constant thing. Faith is not what we think it is. Faith, nothing is what we think it is. Just drop everything, okay? Nothing is true. Everything is just, everything has been taught to us the wrong way, okay? So that's what this episode is about. If you're just tuning in, this is Earth is School. And we're talking about what faith really is. And I am explaining the understanding, but I think it's really important for us to adopt. And that is that faith is a constant thing. You need faith if you have plans on going to the store and then meeting a friend and then making it on time to a meeting, and then something takes place and you end up only making it to the store and something goes wrong and you can't make it here, and your car breaks down or whatever, you need faith right there. Because what happens is we get emotional and our energy changes and shifts, and we'll start to panic, we'll start to get irritated, we'll take our emotions out on others, and the day is still going to go on. You're still going to have to finish this day and go to the next one, if you're lucky enough to make it to the next one. So faith is constant. The lesson of faith is a constant thing, and it is about allowing your mind to reach the destination before your reality. It is about controlling yourself. It's so much deeper than what we have been taught that faith is. It's about knowing that everything is working out all the time. All the time, things are working itself out. Let me see what that is. Romans 1. I should pull out my Bible. Romans 1:17. Romans 1:17. The righteousness of God is revealed from faith, for faith, as it is written, the righteous shall live by faith. Amen. Yes. The righteous shall live by faith. And this is the kind of life that we are meant to live, righteous. A righteous life is a life of ease. I don't know about y'all, but life is already hard enough. Why are we making it harder, baby? Okay, let's stop creating resistance. A righteous life is a life of living with more ease, not creating resistance, being open to receive, believing in yourself. Faith is trusting yourself, trusting source, trusting the process. Okay? So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm so happy that you tuned in. Again, please share, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Hit that super thanks button so your girl can get a microphone and a whole different background, okay? Support my channel. If you love me, if you vibe with me, I appreciate you so much. Words cannot explain. Don't forget that Earth is School. Until next time, thank you for rolling with your sister. Peace out.